Hello. So we haven't got rain this year, but we have wind. So we all look very glamorous with our hair blowing the wrong way. But anyway, we've got a great panel here, a lot of people, so bear with me as I read everybody out, and it's very exciting. I think I'm going to start with our biggest star in the centre, Youssra. A big round of applause. So exciting to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And to my immediate right, we have a star in the making, Yagoub Alfarhan. We're going to be seeing you in Nora, which is the first Saudi feature film in official selection. I saw it in the Red Sea and it was absolutely amazing. And I'm so happy that it's playing here. It's exciting. Ahmed, Malek, I haven't seen you for 3 or 4 years. And I was saying, we predicted you'd be a big star, and you are a big star. So it's so exciting to have you here. Zeinab Abu Alsamh, you are the head of NBC Studios, the NBC Academy in Saudi Arabia, and you've been kind of at the forefront of working with Saudi talents and also talents across MENA, so great to have you here too. Sorry, just going backwards and forwards with all my... So Raya Abirached. Now, as I said, I'm very nervous about doing this panel with you because I'm used to watching you interview celebrities, so I'm sure you're going to go, what are her questions? Thank you. And we have Cassandra casting director, and you're very interesting because you have experience working with talents in the MENA region, but also in the States and Europe. So you have a kind of a cross perspective, which is great. And then, of course, last but not least, Alaa Karkouti, co-founder of Mad Solutions and the Arab Cinema Centre with Maha Diab. And the reason why we're all here today, along with Colin Brown, your partner, your business partner. So, Youssra, I wanted to start with you because
yes,
you've had so much experience in the film industry,
yes,
and at a different time, and now you're modernising it as well.
Very different times.
And just to kick things off, and casting your mind back to when you started, how things have changed.
How things have changed from 40 years ago. Is that what you want to ask me? Okay. Well, I was quite lucky because I worked with the most important directors and writers at the time. And at the same time, it was quite hard to put yourself in a position where there were really big mega stars at the time and big divas. So I wanted to be, in between. And thanks God, I did make it. And I'm still surviving with all the changes you can imagine in our field. As script writing, as directing, as producing, as different ages, as different people coming into the world of acting. And I made it a point to give chances to all the younger people, because as much as I had this chance from older people and they were really big stars and they gave me a big hand in it, I felt it's my job to give others this chance through me. And thanks God, I did, and I think I gave a lot of young people the biggest chances of their lives, and now they are big, big megastars. So you have to know when to change. What would you do in different circumstances? How would you choose your role to keep up being the Youssra you wanted to be. So it was quite hard, but I'm very happy with my positioning now.
And do you think it's easier for talent now, or do you think it's more competitive, or is it just different?
It's not competitive as much as it's different, because the social media gave them a lot of ways to be there. But we really worked so hard. We didn't have any social media, so we needed to prove ourselves in a different way. They have another way to prove themselves. They might do and they might not. But the problem is how you love it, how you are attached to that work, that kind of work. How much can you give this work? How much can you... sometimes it gets in their heads when they make one thing, and in the social media they have millions and millions. So they believe that they made it. But after that, they don't have it. So they need to know this is not the only way.
And I understand you also not only mentoring people and helping people on a personal level, but you've actually set up a kind of an application or an online casting
Yes, it's
process?
called Next. Next is a chance for everybody who has a dream, who wants to fulfill this dream. They can go through Next, because there are a lot of different... it's in acting, it's in script writing, it's in director of photography, it's in photography, it's in cinema, it's in every part. It's in music even. So I think this project can help them to have their own chances if they are really talented.
Have you found any talents through it yet?
So it takes time.
No, but it's an interesting to make a platform.
It's so nice if you really find a good talent and you really believe in it and you help it, and it becomes a wonderful star. Yani, for me, this is yes, the target, the real target.
So I think what I'll do is I'll go to the two actors on the stage. I'm going to start with Ahmed. You're really interesting because you're a big star in Egypt, but you've also made the decision to break out internationally in English language projects. And I think you studied at Raya for a time as well. And I'd just really like to know your experiences on that now. Was it worth it? Do you feel like you've made inroads? Have people become more open to people from the Arab world? In terms of casting, I mean.
Yeah. If we speak about Raya, for me that was just to enhance my craft as an actor. I think that's our job somehow. And as Youssra was saying, you know, all the other elements that come with it are just accessories. But in the end of the day, our job is our craft. And for me, this step of taking a break and studying was for myself and to be able to give back. In terms of casting, I think what helped me a lot in terms of international projects were local projects from my region, projects that were truthful and were authentic enough that made it to festivals. Through these projects, I was introduced to agents and to international agents. Therefore, I got casted in movies, international films. But that would have not been the case if I didn't do films back home that were actually truthful enough. That would have been there if I didn't actually, you know, wanted to do what I do, like, and wanted to explore and give it everything in a way. So it's more of a snowball effect. And if we speak about casting and Arab talents, it is a bit tricky because we are very we are very related to the political and the geopolitical situation. Like I always say, pre-2011, all Arab actors were casted as terrorists. Post-2011, we are casted as refugees, you know? And I don't know what we're gonna be casted now, so I don't know. But we also wanna break that, because you see all the roles and the auditions you get are quite repetitive. So you wanna break that as well. And that takes us to the point that I'm trying to do, and do I say I also collaborate with artists, of course, because what we do is a teamwork. It's not individual. Like for example, last year in London when I was studying, we did this short film with Hassan Aad. He's a Syrian British director who worked. I worked with him on The Swimmers, the Netflix project. And from here we got a story about a Deliveroo driver, and we did a short film. We took funds with Walter Bear, and now BBC just commissioned us to turn it into a feature, and we submitted the first draft of the script. But that comes in the fact of like we doing our own work and developing our own projects rather than waiting from the West to put us into roles of how they perceive us. So it's. And also, it's not black and white. Like, not everyone perceives it in that way. But I'm speaking more on a general sense. So I think with the casting and with that, you should also start developing and working on your own projects, because I think acting now is not only you sitting and waiting for a role. You're also going out there and developing and trying to collaborate with artists and trying to find projects. I spoke so much, sorry.
No, you haven't. It's great. It's great to see you're still passionate. It's great to see you're still passionate.
Yeah, thank you.
I had one other question. I keep talking about it in Arab world versus the US and the English speaking, but obviously there's an ecosystem growing up in the Middle East and North Africa. Do you think there are going to be there's like a film scene growing up in the Middle East and North Africa? Do you think there will be possibilities, or have you been offered possibilities working in other Arab countries? Can you see crossovers like that starting to happen?
Yeah, well, if you look at our region, I'm not saying that because I'm from Egypt, but Egypt is one of the main media hubs of the whole region. So, and that goes back all the way to the 50s and 60s and 70s. Like a lot of Jordanian, Lebanese, all around, like from the Arab world, would come to Egypt and find try to get the Egyptian dialect. But I think now it's quite different, because now I'm getting roles where I have to learn the Lebanese dialect, the Syrian dialect. Even I got once, do you know the Saudi dialect? So I think now the market is changing. That's true, because it's expanding more, I guess. And now you're seeing countries that are investing so much as Saudi, like what Saudi has been doing the past couple of years is magnificent. And the Lebanese and the Jordanian cinema and the Algerian, like from all around the region, I think the cinema in North Africa and Middle East is booming quite much. I think it's tricky when it comes to box office, because you have all these films in the indie, they are under the indie films, but when it comes to box office, it's quietly in Egypt and Saudi now. So I think what we're missing is more of distributions and cinemas, and more of a box office situation, and a more of a box office industry in the rest of the Arab world. I guess, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Yagoub, I think internationally, potentially, you're the least known person on the stage in that respect, because we just were discovering Saudi cinema here, and it's the first time we've had a film. Can you talk a bit about your trajectory? You were in Abirached, you were in a very well-known TV series, is that correct?
Yes.
And then how did you get onto Nora?
I agree on the when you mentioned that, yeah, it's the cinema industry. It's young now in Saudi Arabia, but in the same time, in Saudi Arabia, we're sleeping on a big heritage, you know, human and cultural heritage. We've already been. We have our deep, we have our history, we have our stories, we have our daily lives, we have the street lives in Saudi Arabia, and the thing that happened lately, that because now we're doing films also, then I would believe that Saudi films would go really far now, because artists have been there all the time. Maybe now they have the stand for them to express themselves and go everywhere. As for me, in my experience with Noura, since it's selected officially in this year's certain regard competition. What I love the most about it, that it started as a personal effort between me and Tawfiq, the director and the writer of the film. It wasn't easy to do it. We go way back. Me and Tawfiq, we've been friends for 15 years, and we've always been talking that we want to make a film one day that will go beyond. And that happened like 4 or 5 years ago when Tawfiq approached me with the idea, with the first draft of the story, and we were talking about it, and I thought it was really brilliant. And I'm happy to see it, you know, growing as a story, then to see it transformed to this beautiful movie, whom I'm really proud to be in. So I think, if you ask my opinion, and I agree on Ahmed in so many things that he said, because I think, yeah, it's not about just an actor you show up or waiting for people to call you. You have to initiate stories and things, and if there's an opportunity to introduce yourself to even more broad audience, and you have the opportunity to communicate with other filmmakers and producers from every place, from anywhere, and try to bring that also to your nature, to your to make it more natural. Let's say more natural. We don't want to. It's more important to be genuine and real than to just. Now we're talking about cinema, right? Okay, it's gotta be natural and real and genuine approach toward the films. So yeah, I'm proud of that for sure.
So it's very much, you've got to make those opportunities for yourself. There's not going to be a casting, well, there will be sometimes, but at the moment there's not like casting agents just dropping fantastic roles on you. You've got to find those roles yourself and create them yourself.
I will be happy if I have an opportunity to.
We'll talk afterwards.
Turn that back, yeah, of course.
So, Zeinab, you've been involved through NBC Studios and NBC Academy. You're working with talents across loads of different formats. I mean, can you talk a little bit about what you're doing in terms of trying to bring on talents in Saudi and maybe in the region?
All right. So, is this working? Okay. Okay. So we're really like trading all the viruses. All right. So in my capacity in studios, we produce, and we produce local, and my scope is local Saudi dialect in terms of series or films scripted. And there is a different capacity that I have a double hat on academy. And what's interesting about this being exposed and being part of dealing with the local talent is this time is such an exciting time for them. And there are so many challenges, of course. But the unique thing that only we have is that this production scene, we are writing how it will look We could avoid all the, let's say, bad habits that we've seen in other markets. We could make it our own. You could draw it the way you want to draw it, and you will have abundance of talent. We have different, so in academy, you meet with a lot of newcomers, amateurs, wanting, or actors that want more training, and they haven't carved their name into the scene yet. And those are needs that are different. We put them in sets that are developed. If we're doing, let's say when we did any global or English language with people coming from Hollywood, if you have a director like Rupert Wyatt, or if you have an actor like Sir Ben Kingsley, then you have trainees on set. And that's one of our biggest programs in Academy. And they go in and shadowing directors. So behind the cameras with the HODs, we have special people with their talents that applied, and they go into 2 months, 3 months, 7 months of shoot, and they come out completely grasping what the industry is about and what this field that they got into is about. When it comes to production in studios, we always offer scripts. We don't wait for the artists to bring them. However, I always have a soft spot where an actor wants to add more, wants to not just get the script and react to it, but has more ideas, have more input. They're not the easiest to deal with, but I'm really glad at the end, because the multidisciplinary actor, I think, has become something that's mandatory. It's not only to come and act in a landscape that has a lot of social media, a lot of fakeness, a lot of fastness. When it comes to the craftsmanship, it needs to completely have a contrast from to have that transformational effect when you watch a film or watch a series. So I personally think it's a bit harder for them now with everything going on, and with our attention span, it's harder to make a mark. When it comes to that, it's also easier to reach. That's where they have it differently. But we're always trying to get stories out. We're trying to create different genres, to try them out in different things. In Academy, we have 15 actor and actresses is being trained in Cannes, Youssra School. Some of them are here. I'm so proud of them. And we'll see their creations in the future.
Can you see already, it's still early days, like a star system beginning to emerge? And within the studio, are you trying to set up like a kind of one of those classic situations where you have stars who you've nurtured and then will then stay with NBC? Or is that just not how you envisage things?
We do have our stars that started with us or that grew with us, and we have stars that are close to us that we know that we already get the system. And Yagoub is one of our stars. He's the star of Abirached, and that was the production of studios. But also we have an agency that does that like on a system with the contracts and everything. But in terms of NBC and their stars, I think we've worked across a lot of Arabic countries that we've developed relationships that are based on trust, and it's more of this project is not good for me, but another project. But I don't think there is a star that isn't our friend or close to us at this point.
I have to add something about NBC. NBC is one of the most important and the biggest channel. We would love to cooperate with them as actors because we know the quality they give and the reach at the same time. So for us, it's a big thing when we work with NBC. NBC is really, on. How would you say that?
It's a sure thing.
It's solid ground.
Right.
Okay. And let me add, Saudi Arabia, all the people before the opening of Saudi Arabia, they always loved art. They worshipped art. They really cared for art. And if you ask anyone in the street, they would know who you are and what you did. And our time when we began, we couldn't really make a film without the support of buying the video from Saudi Arabia so that we can make the balance and we can have more money to make our films in our region, in Egypt specifically. So Saudi Arabia is a lover of art.
So I was going to go on to Raya. Now you, as I said, you're a real pro. I see you at festivals, red carpets, awards. So you've seen Arab talent being presented internationally, at home, in the region. I mean, what do you think the Arab talent needs to give it a bigger, higher profile?
Well, first of all, when I started my career, it was a bit of a solitary process. It was me and the Hollywood stars bringing it to the region. So it's kind of the one way. And in the last, I would say, decade, you've seen this emergence and curiosity about Arab talent in Hollywood. You've had the nominees at the Oscars, etc. So it's kind of changed direction, and now you see a real curiosity for Hollywood to come to the Arab world, to come to Saudi and film, to come to the region and discover the possibilities. And it's put actors like Ahmed and Yagoub on the map, because now they are looking for that kind of raw, talented actor that we have in the region, because this is what they are. They're organically raw, and they're interesting actors to Hollywood. So for me, it's been very interesting, and I've actually even made the geographical move back from Europe to the Middle East to kind of accompany that excitement and curiosity that there is in Saudi and in the region for our own talent, and for Hollywood to now come to us. So it's been the most exciting turning point of the last few years. And when I started, there was none of it. You know, 5-6 years ago, there was no film community in Saudi, and now it's buoyant. And it's amazing to see the enthusiasm they have and the kind of hopeful, ideas and artistic creativity that they know that they're going to grow into in the years to come. And from my point of view, being the Hollywood girl to the Middle East, and now being the supporter of the Middle East to Hollywood, it's been very exciting.
So.
Well, difficult, yes, but excitement. You know, I support them. I root for them. I look out for them. I enjoy watching them. And it's all about talent. At the end of the day, I'm always asked that question, what's the difference between Hollywood stars and Arabic stars? And I always answer the same very simple thing. Talent. You have enormously talented people in Hollywood and enormously untalented people in Hollywood. And the same, it's true, and the same in the Arab world as well. You know, Youssra would never be Youssra today if it wasn't because of talent. She's fabulous, of course, but it's the talent that, yes, you can applaud, you can applaud. But at the end of the day, you know, we call it MBC talent. It is very important to focus on our talent and to kind of nourish it.
But you go to LA, I guess, for the Academy Awards, and you must be part of that whole crazy ride that we have from like September until February.
Yes,
and
from Venice to the Oscars. That's our season.
Yeah. So increasingly, Arab films are making a noise and are doing campaigns.
Of course.
But the nominees, I mean, we had 4 Daughters this year, but
yes.
it's hard for them to punch through. Why do you think that is? And are they doing the wrong campaigns wrongly? It's just people.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, financing is key, and we are talking about Hollywood, and we are talking about campaigning. And yes, the word of mouth is not enough. You need to surround yourself with the right people, with the right PR companies, with the right talent companies to break through those films till the end. You know, there should have been a whole campaign about Kawthar bin Hania being one of the unique female filmmakers twice nominated for an Oscar. I would have done a campaign for that as well. Yes, it's true, and I think she's an enormous talent, Kawthar bin Hania. And I did feel a little bit frustrated this year that the campaign for 4 Daughters was not as big as it could have been, and I think she could have gone to the award if that had been the case.
What did you say?
One of the best films you can watch was this film.
Yeah.
Banat Ulfa.
No. But so when you're there, you're on the junkets and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of feedback do you get when Do you feel there's a buzz, or is it kind of
about Arabic cinema?
Yes.
I feel there is a curiosity. I wouldn't call it buzz as much as I call it curiosity. I am asked more and more about what's going on the Saudi cinema market, in the Emirates, in Egypt, etc. So now all of a sudden we are on the map because we are in the conversation, and that's been a big change. When I started my career again, it was solitary. It was that, the Lebanese girl trying to get to Hollywood, and I can't tell you for how many years in the Middle East I was accused of faking it, as if, the Oscar goes to me, I am faking interviewing Tom Cruise, but I wasn't there, because they couldn't believe that we as Arab world could have that access. It's quite fun to me.
Okay. So, Cassandra, so you are in this unique position of having worked in Europe, US, and now working in the Middle East. What's your perspective in terms of how things have changed?
Well, I think the Arab world is extremely hot. We have these trending regions, and for a while it was like Scandinavian actors, and we've definitely had the Asian thing. But I see in the last 3-4 years, especially after Venice and Toronto, and there's been so much success. So it's definitely I see it as a real, like, talent-wise upcoming region. I think it's really important what you said. So many actors come up to me and say, how do I have an international career? And that's what they want. And they say, should I move to LA? I'm like, very bad idea, So I completely support, what you were saying about making it in your own country, in your own language. If you make a mark in your country, they will come to you. And that's really... it's just so clear to me, because the minute that you have a successful project and what's amazing now, because I've been a casting director for like 30 years, and post streaming the world just changed so much, and it used to be that you did have to move to LA or New York or whatever, or to London to have a career, and now you can live at your home. You can work in your home market. You can send a tape. I mean, self-taping is changed the world, and also this success of local work, local productions, local films. We all saw, Parasite. I mean, you have these examples, Squid Game. These examples of there's this globalization now, and now that the globalization happened, everything is go for it. It's great, but it's an exciting region, I feel.
When you were talking about we've now got access to Arab series films via the platforms, but how are you connecting with Arab talents?
Well, I'm actually I'm not anymore, because it really became a lot of work, but I was an international Emmy voter. So I watched all the series and all the things, and they assign you a different area. And the one time I was in like Egypt, and oh my God, it was like amazing work, such good actors and such great scripts, and amazing. So that's that's the main thing that I do. Of course, I just keep an eye on what's happening as well. But that was for many years. I was on that region, so.
And we're going to move on to you, Alaa, but just quickly, I mean, one of the issues, I think, in the region, and I've actually just been on an Africa panel where this came up as well, was that there's the lack of talent agents and like clear rules about how people are engaged. And
this is so huge, yeah. And it's like everywhere I go, people say, oh, you're a casting agent. And I say, never put those two words together, because it's so important to protect the talent that you have two very separate jobs. Casting directors who have fiduciary and creative responsibility to the producer, and talent representatives who have fiduciary and creative responsibility to their clients. And this crosses over, and it's so bad. And I'm the president of the European Board of Governors for the CSA. And I'm always fighting this. It's really a major problem. Just all over the world. Of course, we don't have it in the States, and they can't understand that it exists. They're like, what? Because people call agents to cast. And this is so corrupt. It's just corruption. You can't do it. They have a conflict of interest. It's like having a prosecutor and a defense attorney, in the same person. Like, it makes no sense, right? It's exactly like that, yeah. So
Yeah, because
thank you for bringing that up.
No,
Yeah.
because one of the comments was a young actress got up and said, "How do I connect with you?" And the advice was send your CVs to producers, and then an agent came up to me at the end and said, "No, they shouldn't send their
No,
CVs
please don't
to-
do that.
they
Yeah,
need to be
exactly.
protected,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. So there should be a healthy ecosystem of agencies, you know, and the producers should not be contacting the actors directly. I mean, I just did a whole thing in the Balkans, and the producers were saying, yes, well, when the actors send us to an agent, we put them on a list of actors that we don't want to work with. And I said, so a blacklist? He's like, yeah. He said, no, it's not a blacklist. I said, well, tell me what it is if it's not, you know, because they don't want those. But those, it's like a car that has four wheels. You know, it drives because you have people doing their jobs and doing the right job, and that's very, very important. So it's, you know, I don't have to. You guys are I'm preaching to the converted, but yes.
So that brings us on to you, Alaa. So Mad Solutions, 15 years. You launched Mad Celebrity in 2022.
2019.
Okay, well, you did the announcement in 2022. I don't know. I was wrong. You're reading the wrong story. It was under the radar. So, why did you create that the Mad Celebrity? And can you sort of explain how it works, how you run it?
Yes, simply, it's all the time we had to look at the bigger picture. So in everything we are all doing, it's about the talents. It's not anything about anything else. When we started MAD, we worked on the marketing first, then we worked on the distribution part and co-producing different Arab films. And by time you can feel the gap about the talent management and to have the right position and to start, as Raya mentioned, the conversation actually with the international scene. And because most of the Arab films being in the festivals around the world, it's international co-production, they need to see the faces, they need to understand their minds, what they think about it, and that's part of what we felt we need to do. And how to connect the dots. So when you know, because when we are working in the distribution part, we have the access to know many projects, so we know who to suggest, and we can have longer conversation about their target, how sometimes to change characters, to make it more an Arab background, or to have a crew working on international productions. And by time, parallel, on the Arab Cinema Center direction as well, with the Critics Awards, for example, for Arab films, it has 224 critics from 72 countries around the world. When we're talking about mainly the non-Arab critics, they having access to the full films, the full list of films being released outside of the Arab world and to watch it. By this, and they're writing about this film. So you have to work on multiple elements, which is, of course, it takes longer time, but you need to work on this all the time, the conversation, to highlight the faces all the time so you can reach to this.
But you've got 60 talents on your books, so how do you selective? Do you do interviews? How do you decide who you're going to look after?
Yes, of course, we have to be very selective. We work on 3 units: Mad Celebrity for established actors, Mad Rising Celebrity for new talents in acting, and Mad Crew Celebrity behind the camera. We are very selective in terms of, at the end, it's not magic. It's not, we have to find the right talent that we can feel we can add something to it. So we are selective in terms of the nationality, not to be the same, the same target or the same talent, in a way competing with each other. And most importantly, the understanding and the passion about it. It's not a pure business, actually. It's not like business is business. It's about, we're getting your roles, let's take our share, or we're building all the time a profile. Like in Cannes, this morning, actually, we had with the next program presenting 12 of Mad Talents for streamers, producers, and casting directors, just to start seeing the different faces behind the camera and the actors. It needs a lot of this work. It's a small number of targets. It's not like all the time having a big events, but it's about knowing the faces, knows how they think, knows their CV actually about it. And this is where also it helps to see what is the gap is needed, whether internationally or regionally.
But are you operating more in terms of marketing, or are you also like helping them with their contracts and negotiating their fees?
I know it's full talent management. We try to take care of everything we can actually. For me, I have to mention all with this because this is beyond special and valuable, because when we have someone like Youssra, I said it yesterday and I keep repeating it, when someone like her, she knows super deep the industry, she has this huge experience, she never had this management, and when she sees this and appreciate and value what we are doing, this is a measurement of what you're doing. Yeah. The other change as well, how when we take care of them, so you put the position and image, of course there's the productions, you discuss what's their target. It's not always about, they got a great main role, but it won't add them, it won't help them actually. At the same time, you're adding about dealing with the brands. Brands, they were never dealing really on regular basis with different Arab talents. This is changing recently because of the interest regionally and internationally. You will find already, I mean, including the some of the beautiful people here already dealing with different brands. So it's about the bigger image of this all the time.
I was interested, you mentioned the brands and said that was actually one of your really growing activities. Why is that? Is that because the luxury brands are seeing the Arab world as a growing market? Is it because cinema has introduced those brands to those stars? What do you think the reason is?
The main reasons, the Arab either population or Arab talents, they of course getting way bigger exposure, especially because of the social media, especially when you're getting on international level. You have a perfect example, Ahmed Malek, who is working already with Dior and Cartier, which is the first male to be an Arab actor to be with them. He's been on the international, he's been in Australian film, The Furnace, for example, and he was nominated for in the Australian Oscars, in a way, in the best category of the acting, you know. This is opening the eyes of the brands and how to deal with them. Plus, the social media made the whole globe, and you have the diaspora, the whole Arabs living also outside of the Arab world, adding more numbers of the target. And they can, by our discussion with them, you can see the quick effect of how they see the results of using those names in their brands, actually.
And so you mentioned you did the event this morning at the Cannes Next Pavilion, I think. Was that mainly for crew, or was that?
No, it was crew and actors as well.
So you have 20 talents, mad talents here at the festival.
Almost, between who's going to Cannes Next and between the different activities.
And are you doing other activities to promote them?
It's more about meeting. There's already discussion about some projects. For example, without mentioning name, we already confirmed a British Malaysian film to have one of the characters, one of the Arab actors, but we cannot announce it. We're discussing already a feature animation, European feature animation feature. And there will be a Saudi dubbed version, and Egyptian dubbed version, and the faces will be a little bit adapted to the real actors, which we're working on it to have a test, then we'll approach the right direction. So this during already happening, either shortly before Cannes or during now Cannes, actually. And there's other discussions as well. And also the exposure of meeting the different producers. Many of the talents here, it's their first time ever in Cannes. It's already important experience, to know the world of the entertainment industry in one place.
And so it's 15 years since you launched Mad Solutions, and then 5 years later you launched the Arab Cinema Center. What changes have you seen in that time?
Huge changes. First, it's based on individuals. It's not about organizations. It's about the efforts of everyone working in the industry, whether, of course, cinema or TV. The effort, even when we're talking about individuals, by the way, MBC Group, it was about the individuals who's managing it to create this world of MBC, and how Youssra mentioned, how the quality. They stamp all the time. It's the quality. It is an individual thing. What the biggest thing changed? I need to drink water because
It's the wind, I know.
exactly. I'm lucky, of course. I'm not having
The wind. in your
wind
hair.
with my hair. Yeah. So over now 15 years, it's a huge change. First, the platforms wasn't there with this strong access. The amount of Arab films and Arab content going internationally, the amount of taking risks, whether from producers, directors, the amount of number of first-time directors coming from the Arab world all the time. Plus the presence. When you see, I believe this is another year of a huge presence in the festival. We have, not we as, I mean as an Arab cinema, there is 12 Arab films in the different sections in the festival. The amount of Arab industry attending, the different activities we are doing, NBC is doing, NEOM. That's the conversation that's happening.
I just want to get a mic over to Ahmed. Because when were you here? Were you here with Clash? Was that the last time you had a film?
Yeah, Clash with Mohammed Diab. Yeah, that was 3 to 4 years ago.
And you came with
6 years ago.
And you. Oh no, it happens.
Yeah.
But it was the first time. But it was the first. That's.
That was my first film too.
And now 6 years later, you've come back. How do you feel there's a difference in the conversations you're having?
I didn't go the first time.
Oh, that's what I was asking you. As someone who didn't.
I had army in Egypt because we have to join the army in Egypt. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! So this is your first time.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were there for the.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you can't compare it to 6 years.
No.
But are you holding meetings here? Have you got? Are you talking to people?
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. We do have meetings. Yeah.
You don't have meetings.
He looks around to his agents to see, did you
Alaa,
set
Please
up
tell me.
anything
I'll do a
for
meeting
me?
with you.
He's
We
already discussing a project. He's having
I just don't want to
some
sound
meetings.
cocky and say, yeah, I do have. Yeah, we do.
I have to say.
I can add
We do.
something to that. It's because like a few years ago, everything was so timid. It used to be such a struggle to make a movie in Lebanon or in Jordan or in, that you would come to Cannes very shy and kind of, look away, so no one would notice you. Now there's a strategy, especially now that we have, agents and talents are managed, and there's a strategy, there's a forward thinking about what we can do in the future. You come to Cannes with more of an agenda, and it's very good to be pragmatic that way and to utilize the platform that a film festival like Cannes is for talents and who you can introduce them to, etc. So it's gone from being shy to being more pragmatic, and that's been a big change in the last few years that I've noticed.
Yeah. So Zeinab, are you doing official events where you're promoting people?
Here in
Yeah.
Cannes? We have meetings, definitely. Yesterday we had a Academy-related events alongside the Red Sea Film Festival and Generation 2030 for the students and the scholarship program. But next Cannes, inshallah, we will be having something to celebrate, and that would be worthy of a big fun party.
Thank you. And just Yagoub, as you're here with Nora, and it's such an exciting moment. Have people approached you yet? Because the film isn't shown yet. It shows next week.
Yes, I mean, because I had this opportunity before coming here when we first show it at the Red Sea Film Festival, and it was great. Of course we did a lot of meetings again and again. Yeah, there's always meeting, and of course it's great. I think I'm grateful definitely to have these meetings.
I'm never going to say meetings
I'm not
again.
against-
Meetings. Everybody has meetings.
The thing is, it had because the film was shown before the Red Sea area. It was great to get the feedback from more than film spectators, like audience and film spectators from all around the world. The guests from, of course, our Arabic community, films, and films, and from the international abroad also spectators. And here I can see that, yeah, I can feel the excitement of everyone to see, like, for the first time a Saudi film in the official selection of the festival. I'm living it now. This is why I'm enjoying my moment. Everyone has been really kind since we arrived. I'm not thinking. I don't want to romanticize it a lot because it's really, for me, something really. It's emotional, definitely. To be in this place in this time. But I will think about that later more. I think I'm just trying to enjoy the moment and use this opportunity actually to build much bigger network, to try to also introduce ourselves properly to the press here, to the people, film enthusiastic and film spectators also. Because it's about life, you know. Films, it's about life, especially when you have the opportunity to do something from your home and to bring it here to much bigger audience. I think it's great. Want to make the best of it, and of course I want to see this happening again and again, and open much more opportunities to other people back home to have the confidence to try to achieve that and go even better places, for sure.
Well, I think we're coming to the end of our slot. I mean, Alaa, is there anything you want to sort of, as a recap, just like final words? Does anybody have any final words?
Yes.
On this? Youssra.
I would like to add that I'm here in Cannes this time because I'm a mentor of 2 Egyptian films it's a docudrama. And when you watch these films and you watch the dreams of those girls, and now they are in Cannes, so this is a dream come true. And was way beyond their dreams to happen. So I would like very much, also as a part of Guna Film Festival, we have a hand in this. So I would like very much to approach you all to go and watch these 2 films because they are really very emotional.
Thank you.
I want to add one last thing, I'm sorry. But as we speak about the Arab cinema, and as Arabs, it's going to be weird not to mention what's going on in the region. In Gaza, I just wanted to read a poem from a poet, because it feels very weird and traumatic for us as young Arabs to be doing art in the midst of war. And I just wanted to share a poem by Marwan Makhoul, and there are and also our friends from the Gaza Theatre Group. In order for me to write poetry that isn't political, I must listen to the birds. And in order to hear the birds, the warplanes must be silent. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I think I don't know what to follow up on that.
Thank
Maybe
you so much.
In a way inspired by this, because when you're asking about what changed over the 15 years, the only thing never changed. We are always on survival mode. It's always about suffering the content of the Arab world, whether it's about war, etc. While we are here in Cannes, half of the Arab world either under war or horrible circumstances. While all of this, having this amount of talents happening, bringing out of nothing their projects and keep surviving, I believe that's the biggest achievement happened over 15 years.
But there is a day for different people from Palestine stories will be said from them here in Cannes, which is an amazing thing, which is, we need to spotlight all this to the whole world.
Yeah, there's already, actually, there's a market screening. Rashid Mashharawi did a project of 22 shorts from Gaza. It's made from Gaza. He's doing a market screening. He worked with Durra Bshusha. It's supported by.
Hello, this one, John, this one.
Can you hear? You can hear, okay. It's supported also by Royal Film Commission of Jordan. It will be here as well. This film's made in Gaza during actually the war. So yes, it is happening even under the war actually.
As we speak, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you very much for all of your insights. Thanks, big panel, but you all great. Thank you very much, and a big applause. Thank you.